Hi, everyone, and hi, my beautiful, unique, special, one of a kind cosmic sister, Miss Corinne Mooney, all the way from Mesa, Arizona. You love that presentation, right?
Ah,
My
yeah.
star, my star. And welcome, everybody, to the Cosmic Sister Show with Corinne and myself, Anne, where sacred shielding awaits. Welcome home to another luminous gathering in the great remembering. So tonight, me and Corinne will open the circle with a theme that lives at the very heart of embodied spirituality. Sacred shielding, the art of spiritual hygiene and protection. This is the space where clarity meets intuition, where boundaries become blessings, and where your energy learns to stand as its own quiet sovereign temple, not through fear, not through resistance, but through presence, intention, and the gentle mastery of your inner light. Together, we explore how to cleanse what is not yours, strengthen what is yours, and anchor the radiant fields that allows your soul to breathe freely in a world full of currents, stories, and frequencies. This is spiritual hygiene as a daily devotion. This is protection as a natural expression of self love. This is shielding as an art, subtle, powerful, and deeply compassionate. So settle in, soften your breath, and let your energy unfurl. You are safe here and you are seen here. You are invited into a deeper understanding of your own sacred field. Today we have June 24th in US and Europe, and our future Australia, June 25th, down under. And again, we talk about sacred shielding, the art of spiritual hygiene and protection. And don't hesitate if you have any questions. We are here. You can write it in the chat. Sometimes the live chat it will not remain, but we are here now, so we can still answer your questions, right?
Mhm.
Our last show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sisters with Miss Corinne and myself was last Wednesday, June 17th. And we talked about in the current, standing firm in the river of life. We do go live for you on YouTube every week, every Wednesday in US and Europe at youtube.com/at Cosmic Guardians 111/streams and youtube.com/at Angel Place on Earth/streams. And after our live show, we stream the replay at facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians. So let's take a breath, soft breath together, and arrive fully into this moment and dive deep, very deep into today's show.
Yes. Yes. This is very, very important. And it's something that I would say that 90% of people forget. It's almost like when you're brushing your teeth, you should have a little thing where you could just, scrub your auric field and prepare like that. And thusly the spiritual hygiene. But do you sometimes feel energetically exhausted? Do you ever wonder why? You feel heavy and out of sorts, especially around certain people or in certain situations. Perhaps that shielding that creates our protective boundaries needs some upkeep. Uh, we all agree that living in the three-dimensional energies, 3 4 dimensional energies, we run up against situations as people who are now moving into the higher frequencies. I think we feel them differently. because we're aware that they're there. We're not just, like a robot just moving boom to boom to boom to boom, like in the Matrix. And once that you've stepped out of the Matrix, you realize that there are other things that are influencing and affecting how you perceive and move through life. It's very easy, really, to check and see if that protection is around you. But when there's a little crack or there's a little way that it can be invaded upon, you start feeling resistance. You start feeling heavy. You start feeling what is going on? Because yesterday it was all, roses and happy, and today it's like doom and gloom. But checking this and really taking care of it, if this becomes a routine for you, ritual, routine, those are words that are just out there. If it becomes a loving pattern
Yeah.
of protection,
Loving habit.
exactly. And it's interesting, I love words. And when I'm doing my physical therapy and they put these hurdles, literally, they're about 9 inches tall, and they put them in a line, and then I have to step over the hurdles. This is one of my exercises. And they say, well, it's time for your hurdles. I said, no, it's time for my joy stepping. Because if I'm joyfully stepping, there's a switch in my brain. I'm not going over pain and hurdles and everything else. So this is part of cleansing your auric field also. And we
Yes.
talk about the importance of the impeccability of words. And every now and then, and I'll say, well, I got to be impeccable with my speech. Those are not going to be hurdles to me because I'm going to have joy after I'm finished doing them. But it is very important to consciously be aware that there's other parts of your eternal being that need to be addressed
Yes.
daily.
Daily. Exactly.
Daily.
And just as our bodies thrive through nourishment, rest, and cleansing, our soul flourishes when we honor its energetic landscape with the
Yes.
same devotion. And I think this is where we haven't been taught this, right? We take it for granted. We have other ways of um, trying to cheer ourselves up, right? But
Correct.
we haven't ever been taught how to work with energy, because if everything is energy, then we need to master that part of our lives as well, right? So
Correct.
spiritual hygiene is not a luxury for the sensitive ones. It is a foundational practice for anyone walking a conscious path, anyone choosing to live awake in a world that often forgets its own light. And I love actually the wording spiritual hygiene, because just as we take that shower or we brush our teeth, we take that for granted, we just do it, right? But we don't maintain any kind of maintenance on our spiritual hygiene, usually. Sometimes, because I do try to promote this for all of those who I'm speaking to make it a daily habit. And
Hmm.
doesn't need to take a long time each and every day, right? But we
Correct.
need to do it. We need to show the universe the intention that we are doing it, right?
Yes.
So something else that's interesting, and I can share a short story of my own as well. So many people think of protection as a defensive act, right? I'm going to protect myself. I feel like I'm
Good.
attacked and I'm protecting myself. Yes. Something done out of fear or avoidance, but true spiritual protection is an act of love. It is the love you offer yourself when you choose clarity over confusion, peace over noise, and alignment over entanglement. It is a love that says your well being matters, your frequency matters, your presence matters. And many years ago, I was kind of very much into this protective mode. So I protected myself. I placed myself in bubbles. I placed myself in different things, and I built even walls of blocks or anything, around me to protect myself. But what happened, and this is interesting, what happened was that my deepest intention was fear based.
Hmm.
So I wanted to master this, but I had this fear because I felt like there were coming energies that I couldn't master at that time, right? So my focus was on protecting myself, and because my focus was fear based, it increased.
Yes.
All those crazy things around me increased. And that's something important to remember. It doesn't mean that we have to fear it, but if everything is energy, what we focus on, it is going to increase. It's the intention behind, right?
Yes. And very, very much so. And I loved it when you were saying, we get up, we shower, we do this. And the really the ease of bringing in a divine practice, a divine way of working this into our life. When you're in the shower, water is very cleansing. While you're standing there, have some words of love. I am protected from negativity. I am open to all the possibilities that I can find. I am able to discern the difference between needing to shut it off and to let it in. And
Yeah.
that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Knowing when to be a little more open. But it's almost as if I'm sorry, they're giving me little pictures here, and they're showing me making coffee, and you put the filter in before you run the through, and that is what we're talking about, having a filter and having it where we can be of service to people, but we're not giving away our energy. And a
Mm.
very special teacher of mine always said, we come to be of service, but we do not come to be servants. So
Yes.
being able to have that barrier that filters things and allows us to have that moment to discern whether this is something that we want to do. And our divine energy is precious. It is our ethereal connection to our wholeness, to the oneness, to the everything. It is our wavelength that keeps us connected to the ethereal and the true essence of our being. And in our daily lives, we physically try to avoid negativity, but negative vibrations and situations just hang around people, hang around the air. And as we walk through, it's like being rained on by other people's stuff,
Yeah.
the media, uh, certain people that bring all that trauma and drama.
Yeah.
If we have our umbrella,
Yes.
our rain gear on,
Yeah.
we can be in this and we can go, oh, well, that's cleansing, that's nice, that's this, without getting soaked. And,
Yes.
you know,
Good point. Because many people, and I struggled with this many years ago too, So I kind of withdraw from certain situations because I said I can't really be there. I'm going to pick up everything. But when you work on this part of yourself to maintain your energy, the spiritual hygiene, you master it in the end, meaning that there's nothing that you will encounter in this world that you can't actually manage and
Exactly.
master, right? So spiritual hygiene begins with awareness. And I can talk for myself as well one more time here, because being a little bit tenacious, you say, stubborn is my word. It's not always pleasant with the awareness. It's actually, I can tell that it's actually worse in the beginning because we feel confused. We don't have a grip on things, right? We
Hmm.
don't really master. But awareness is the blessing that helps us move forward. So
Exactly.
every day we move through layers of energy that are not ours. Thoughts, emotions, expectations, projections, collective waves, ancestral echoes, and you name it, so many more things, right? Some
Hmm.
pass through easily, others cling. Without noticing, we may carry what was never meant for us. Sacred shielding invites us to pause and ask a simple question: what am I holding that does not belong to me? And
Perfect.
to release that. And
Yeah.
I have become way tougher with the years. I don't actually ask for help to remove anything longer. I just demand. I
Yeah.
say, I
Yeah.
demand
Yeah.
whatever does not belong to me with full love to return back to where it came from,
Hmm.
because it's not mine, right?
Yeah.
And we are going to influence uh, people when we do work on the energy of within ourselves, our energy. So when we ask this with honesty, the body responds, the breath deepens, the
Mhm.
heart softens, the field begins to clear. And this is the first layer of protection, the inner cleansing that restores our natural state of openness without overwhelm. Do
Yeah.
you bear
It's
with me? I have two more to mention.
no. I'm just in awe here.
And the second layer is intention, as I talked about before, right?
Hmm.
Intention is the architecture of energy. When we set a clear intention for our field, the universe responds and we respond. A simple inner statement, such as I choose to hold only what is mine, creates a boundary more powerful than any wall. Intention is not force, it is alignment. Alignment. It is the quiet authority of a soul that knows its own center. The third layer is presence. Presence is the shield that requires no effort. When we are fully in our body, fully in our breath, fully in our now, nothing external can override our inner truth. Presence is the frequency that dissolves interference. It is the state in which we become unshakable, not because we are hardened, but because we are rooted.
That that everything was perfectly in sequence. What you said, but the being rooted in your true essence, that's incredible because everything I know that you and I have been doing is to find our authenticity and to be rooted in our true essence,
Yeah.
because then we can distinguish, is this really me or is this other people's influence? And it's protecting our inner sanctum. That's where
Yes.
our soul resides, and it's the very essence of our being. And it's vital to our survival, to our spiritual well-being, even to our authentic self. And this is the most sacred space that we can reside. This is our private, secret, sacred place. The place that has a sign on it that says no admittance. This is the holiest of holy, the place where we commune with our divine soul. And when we're doing the sacred shielding, I have this sacred shielding around my sanctuary here, my healing center. And as soon as people get out of their car and start walking towards the door, anyone that is sensitive to energy feels a change. And I had this one friend who, a person who had never come to my center, and very, very in tune with vibrations and everything. And I opened the door and she has this really puzzled look on her face, and she's looking around like this. She says, "Do you realize there's a force field around your house?" And I said, "Of course." I mean, doesn't everyone have a force field, a barrier? However, while they're walking towards the door, anything on them that is of not a high energy is going to gently be washed off. It's like going through a car wash. So as they're coming to the door, these things are being gently eliminated. So it's it's an interesting thing, and working in this field, I've gotten very aware of, making sure everything is there. And however, being perfectly inhuman, perfectly imperfectly inhuman, I will sometimes forget to check things out. I'll be busy doing this, be doing that, and then when something hits me, I go, "Okay, house cleaning time. I need to check and see if there's any way that this sacred shielding that I have has maybe sprung a leak." you know, and
Exactly.
it takes being, as you said, takes being present and
Yeah.
knowing that in order to be doing what we're doing, we need to have that
Yeah.
daily. I mean, we check the oil in our car. We put on
Yes.
sunscreen, for heaven's sakes. We
Yes.
drink water. We buckle ourselves up. All of these things to protect the physical body, and then the spiritual body is going, "Hey, what about me?" Uh, you know,
I would like to promote something actually that you have every Tuesday, correct?
okay, yes, every Tuesday night.
So if anyone is, or everyone, should we say, is in the Phoenix or Mesa area, please give Miss Corrine a call and be part of her open heart meditation. You can see here below the video, you can see the information and phone.
Wow.
And you can find Corrine at, I say +1, but that means our country, right? So
Yes.
480-250-1815. Phone number again, 480-250-1815. Or email her at lqenergy@yahoo.com.
Thank you.
lqenergy@yahoo.com.
Yes.
Thank you.
As I we had a new person come last night, and I always explain that yes, you're taking time for yourself. You're taking time to do your spiritual hygiene, and taking a moment to just kind of reconnect. Being here, you're going to have all of these wonderful things happening around you and with you. But what is essential also, Gray Braden, love that man. has mathematically figured out that every one person, when they're just having literally opening their heart and meditating, not saying, we got to fix this, we got to do this, just sitting there, being in the wholeness and being uniquely themselves, will actually energetically touch 1,000 other beings. We had 6 people last night, so 6,000 people were this wave of calmness. Maybe at that particular moment that we were meditating and this is just surging out, maybe someone was trying to decide whether to rob a store. Maybe someone was trying to decide, am I going to leave my family? Maybe, we don't know. And maybe that wave of love just touched that soul, which we will never know. But we are the instruments of helping others find and feel this. And
Yeah,
taking care of ourselves is essential, very
it is.
essential.
It is actually. And thank you for saying that, because it's so very important. If we are clogged up with energies and we have probably sent out attachments to others, I see them actually as tentacles. It sounds gross
Yeah,
and it looks gross, but energy, attached energy, can look really thick, and it if we don't do anything about it, it's going to thicken and grow, usually,
hmm,
right?
correct.
It's nothing that we can't fix, but if we are aware, we don't need to ever come to that place. Yeah, like you, once in a while, I kind of relax a little bit, and that's fine, because we are souls having a human experience, so we can
Exactly.
relax. And all of a sudden, it feels like, oh my gosh, something is off here. I'm going to take care of it. So I do, just like you. And it's nothing more about it. And not only our own energy, but you also mentioned our environments and homes, right? Because
Exactly.
um, our homes and where we spend a lot of time is like sacred havens for us. So we need to have that space without interfering energies, right? Sacred shielding also includes the wisdom of releasing things, right?
Hmm.
Protection is not about shutting the world out, which I kind of tried to do back in the past, right? Because it felt so
We all
overwhelming.
have.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is about letting go of what is not ours so we can meet the world with clarity. When we release the energies that do not belong to us, we return to our natural radiance. We become clearer channels for intuition, creativity, and connection. We become more available to life, not less,
Yes.
right?
And that's important, especially in what we are accomplishing. Um, One of the things that I said last night after meditation, well, actually, was said for me, because when I'm meditating, I'm speaking and listening to a higher authority and a higher dimension, and and I don't like to use that word higher, because we are equal with everything in the universe, but we may not be on that frequency all the time, and we have to kind of dial it up and say, okay, now. So I was speaking from a higher frequency, and I always tell the people that hear, in your daily life, you have no idea what one word may say to someone. You may never see the result of what you are bringing to the world, but that one moment of inspiration. And it's not necessarily, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to give everybody that, how to thing. It's just that one kindness that you may do that one offering that you offer to someone, and how every individual is so important to the tapestry of the new evolution that we're going through.
Yeah.
And with me, especially because I'm interdimensional, and I'm dealing with other things outside of the physical. So I really need to keep that shielding up. It's they're giving me a picture of Star Trek. Scotty, are the shields up? Because it does. It deflects that negative energy, so it can't penetrate into our true essence. And
Yeah.
I really have worked out a routine where if I'm working with anyone, I'm always shielding myself first. But the love can come out, but the negativity can't come in. And uh, when I really do some deep house cleaning, I will clear my entire DNA. I will clear my aura. I will cleanse my cells. I cleanse the atoms. I clean the vibration between the atoms. I clean everything. And then I'm going to cleanse my house. I even cleanse it down to the nails that hold my house together, to the grass and everything around. I cleanse my dog. Everything that I've ever brought into the house is cleansed, especially the electronic stuff. And when I do a deep cleaning, I go through everything in absolute detail. And every time I release any negativity, I immediately fill it with love and light, because vacuum needs to be filled.
Yeah, it needs to be filled, and we want to intentionally fill it with a high energy, right?
Exactly.
With intention. And
With it.
what I do on a regular basis, on a daily basis, is actually, first of all, I ground myself with, I see roots coming from my feet down into Mother Earth, because otherwise I get very, very spacey, right? I'm being out here.
Yes.
And then I can cut cords. I used to ask for help with cutting cords, but now I just claim I'm cutting them. And I'm filling any empty space with light from the highest vibration, right? You can say divine light, divine essence, or whatever how you want to express that. And I may have a few other things that I do on a daily basis. That's doing it a little bit faster, right? But also, and this came to me 3 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
So I was just, I've seen 3 crystal cities in my visions in my life.
Wow.
And one was in the sea, one was at the beach, and I saw one actually just hanging above Mother Earth. And I was shown that, and it's so beautiful. And I said, what am I going to do with that? Well, you're going to help anchor the energy, and you're going to work with the energy. So what I do, you can place yourself in a bubble or whatever you want to. But I say I place myself within the crystal city with at least 500 megahertz energy. And sometimes if we feel that we can manage that kind of energy, because it's really high conscious energy, you can go up to 700-800 at least, right?
Right.
But don't go immediately too much, because that's also something that can make us feel spacey. So try it out first and give it time to process it, because it is really strong. And I use something else. I'm sorry, we hear the neighbors here. Do you hear a drill? No,
That's okay. Life is life. It's
life is life.
beautiful.
Something else that I use Um, because sometimes we are becoming aware, I have been, that there may be actually people, there may be entities or whatever, trying to send some stuff that are not very, very positive. But no one can actually reach us if we say no. So I created my own way of dealing with that. So I simply envision a very thick metal door. It's beautiful. It has stuff on it, right? It's absolutely beautiful. And I say, I close the door to my energy for anyone who wants to manipulate or use it in any way, do anything with it without my conscious consent. And that's it.
Yes.
And then I see that I close the door. Works each and every time.
Yes. And sometimes I'll give that type of uh, a thought to people I'm working with, and I said, you put a little picket fence around your house. In America, in the 50s, it was typical to see that little white picket fence, and everybody had the little white picket fence and didn't keep really anything out, and it had holes through it and stuff like that. But energetically, you have your little picket fence, and then you can open the gate and you can close the gate as you
Yes.
choose. But
Yes.
our energy can go out, but we don't. Just because we're on a spiritual path does not mean that you have to let everyone in. You
Exactly.
can be empathetic, but you don't have to let their negative energy, you don't have to take it on and try to fix it. And as you were saying, this is not fear. We're not afraid of what's out there. We just choose not to be in it. Um, I choose not to get sunburned. So I'm going to wear a hat. I don't like wearing hats. But, the sun can do what it wants to do, but it's not going to, you know,
Yeah.
touch my face. So I'm not afraid of the sun. Nothing would grow without it. I love it. It's beautiful, but it's not happy on my face. So this is that discernment that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And literally, I love it when you said it's not coming from fear. We're not building an impenetrable, you're bad, I'm not going to be associated with that. It's like I'm going to be able to determine whether or not that connection is good, but it's not going to penetrate my holy being. And
Exactly.
um,
And just as we make rules and decisions and boundaries and everything in real life, the physical form, we need to have boundaries with our energy as well, because
yeah,
there are many who actually come and they drain energy, and I'm not judging those who do. But when
yes,
we master this, and no one is going to ever be without life force energy, because that is the energy
yes,
someone can. It's usually unconscious, right? But we can feel that, and there's a name for it. Some people call it energy vampire. It sounds horrible,
exactly,
but yeah,
exactly.
but it's not okay because it's not helping. And many people have also said to me, but I'm an empath. I feel so much for others. Yes, but
Yes,
if you stand in your own strength and love, you're going to be able to give more love without being drained.
that's exactly right. And it's very true. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed when I was reading the Celestine Prophecy, um, because everybody says that life is about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that's kind of the quote. But it's all about energy. It's dominating someone else and being able to take their energy. It's making a person react so they can literally pull your energy away. When you see the aura, and when you see the interaction between people, you can actually see the cords that are draining a person, and how they physically and energetically feel.
Yes.
And people learn how to get that energy. They can be intimidators, where they intimidate that person, and that person's like trying to defend themselves, and we create this energy, and they live off of it. Now, on a very higher scale, the chaos that's in our life, the entities that live off of our energy, not just the people, but the energies,
Yes.
they want to keep the chaos, because all of the wars, all of the anger, all of these fear based things that we feel, that's like candy to them. So if they can get us to do it, giving them all this fear, yeah, they just, oh, wow, this is so wonderful.
Yeah.
But we're talking about just this area, but energetically in the whole world. This is why each individual that strengthens their sacred shielding, we're not feeding the entities that live off of what they're trying to create within us. And I did
Exactly.
love reading the Celestine prophecies, because it really told a lot about how people will manipulate others to get them to, and it's energetic.
And
It really is.
here's the kicker. Actually, you can be over the top rude to someone and having their energy, because you make them feel uncomfortable or whatever you
Yes.
do, right? But you can be the total opposite. And sometimes we don't see that, because that takes sometimes a little bit longer time to see. Someone who is over the top nice, right? To the point where you feel it's a little bit odd, right? But that can happen too. But here's something else to think about as well, because we are living in an environment where we do exchange energy. It's natural. We shouldn't fear exchanging energy.
No.
When we have the sense that something doesn't really add up here, it doesn't feel right, then we can make a new choice about it. We don't need to, before we get angry, before we get pissed off, before we feel that something is coming along, right? Or start some kind of a conflict or whatever can happen, right? And that is the beauty with taking care of your spiritual hygiene on a daily basis, right? To
Yes.
really do it. Once in a while, you can go deeper, and there are processes like Miss Corrine described. And I,
Yes. Very
and
detailed.
I also do, and it actually takes, if you're going to do a very deep clearing and cleansing, yeah, it takes an hour
Yes.
and a half, sometimes longer, and
Right.
maybe for a couple of days sometimes, or one day and a week after, and things of that nature, right? But there
Yes.
are many processes. But if you just start to do this, make this a habit in your daily life, and you're going to master this. I know, I promise. I
Yes.
rarely promise things, but this I promise.
It is a promise. Scout's honor.
Yes.
Or Vulcan
Hey,
honor.
here.
Yes.
So, to practice sacred shielding is to honor your own personal path. It is to walk with clarity, to speak with intention, to feel with discernment, and to live with an open yet protected heart. It is the art of being fully present without being pulled away from yourself. It is the remembrance that your energy is a sacred temple and you are its guardian.
Wow. Wow. And that we forget that sometimes. We forget that we literally are the holiest of holy.
Yeah, we are.
Nothing outside of us is better than or because we are part of the tapestry. We're
Yeah.
just doing our particular journey, and keeping that sacred and protected is how
Yes.
we stay within our true divine self.
Yes. And when we work, we have the intention of maintaining our energy, stepping into ourselves and doing this self-work. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, that can come close to us if we don't choose it to allow it
That's
to
true.
be.
That's true. And I love the way that you said being emphatic when you say no. And I've worked with people that have literally have had unpleasant UFO encounters, and people that have had other situations. And I said, nothing, nothing, no thing can affect you if you choose to tell it no. But don't say, okay, guys, why don't you go somewhere else? No, it's no, away, be gone, out.
I demand you to disappear.
Exactly. Because you have to take the and realize that your sovereign space is not going to be invaded, and and there's nothing gentle about it. I mean, if you're going to present that to me, it's like the Shaolin priests. They're very gentle. They wouldn't hurt a soul. But if need be, and I literally carry a crystal sword, and you do not want me to, because once the samurai brings that out, I'm sorry. Uh, just because I'm feminine and because I'm spiritual, I'm going to do some spiritual, you know. So there is nothing wrong with being in command and saying, no, that's it. Uh, and especially, I'm talking a lot to women or people that have been, their value has been depleted. You are sovereign. You are sacred. It's forget manners. That's when you just say, you out of
And
here.
there are people sometimes in our lives that say you can't say no. And I
Mhm.
answer with, says who? Because
Exactly.
no one is taking command over me. It doesn't mean that
Exactly.
I'm angry or aggressive or call people names or have a bad behavior or an attitude. No, but I'm sovereign.
That's right. And I remember the first time that I stood up for myself, and it wasn't real. The boss that I had wanted to use my space, not space, but my equipment. I mean, I had just gotten divorced. I had to buy my own equipment. I was doing nail technician at that time, and I had to buy everything, and everything was a struggle for me to get everything I had. And he comes and he says, well, you're not here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Can so and so use your stuff? And I literally shocked myself and said no. I didn't yell. I just said no. And his assistant, who knew me, goes, well, that's not like you. And
No,
when she
exactly.
said that, there was this awareness that goes, yes, that was not like me. And I went in the bathroom and I go, yes, I stood up for myself. But that was way before I got into realizing how important it was to have your spiritual shielding.
How do you feel for sitting in the hot seat?
Well, yeah. Okay.
So, we always have 5 simple questions and
Simple.
reflections that help us feel into the topic of the day. And they are not only for us, they are also for all of you watching and listening as well. So ponder about these and find your own answers as well, right? First
Yes.
question. What does spiritual hygiene mean to you in everyday life?
Simple words, very simple words, but so profound. It means that I love myself enough to take care of something that is more sacred than my car, my house, my anything. Uh, Saying that I am worth taking care of, making sure that I am going to have the protection I need. And the moments that I take to do it, and I can guarantee you on the days when I get up and I go and I sit in my beautiful sanctuary in the back, and I take that time to just find my clarity and my presence and be in the moment of knowing that I am cleaning everything. I am doing that moment of shielding. The day goes smoothly. When I'm too busy to do that, just that few moments that I sit out there, and but then I have someone's coming and so forth, and I let other things get in the way. My day gets a little grumpy, but yes.
Yeah. Maybe you answered the second question, but I ask it anyway. So how do you sense when your energy field needs cleansing or renewal?
You're right. I did answer that. It's when things are getting bumpy, and uh, when it's like the message I'm getting. They're showing me sand in your bathing suit, and gravel, and just uncomfortable. And when it gets really bad, it's like you're stuck. You start to move, and it takes effort to do something that is so simple. And it's a physical feeling when you get clogged down, and very uncomfortable. Now we as humans, we have the tendency to say, "Oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, I ate the wrong thing. Oh, this and everything else." But it's energy. It's energy, and then you go, "Oh, okay. Let's
Yes.
clean it off.
And
Let's
because
get
it's
wiping."
energy, we may feel that we have no say in how to manage that, but we do have our
Exactly.
response. Our
Exactly.
response. That's it. So, third question. What simple practices help you feel protected yet open to love?
Well, I have to go back to that sitting quietly and doing that moments of open-eyed meditation is what I call it, and just being present in the world, allowing myself to just expand out. I'm in a protected area, so I can expand it out. There again, knowing that I have protected myself, and I'm in a safe sanctuary, and I am empathetic to all that's going on, but I do not have to process your stuff in order to be empathetic. That's
Exactly.
where empaths forget that just getting all of this information, that it's not their job to filter it for the other person. We can still be empathetic to what's going on, but we don't have to take their garbage and throw it away or cleanse it, because that is uh,
Yeah.
they
So
need to do their own
a
stuff.
certain amount of detachment, meaning not closing off people, but not taking on their stuff. There's a big
Exactly.
difference. Yeah.
That coffee filter, it lets the good coffee flavor come through, but it keeps the grinds out, you know.
So
That was
fourth, yeah,
perfect,
please
perfect when
go
they
ahead.
gave me that.
Fourth question: how can
Okay.
boundaries become sacred rather than defensive?
Oh, well, you said that yourself. You brought that so much because are my boundaries coming from fear or are they coming from love? If I love myself, I'm going to wear a hat. If I love myself, I'm going to buckle my seat belt. If I love myself, I'm going to eat properly. That's coming from love. That's not coming from, oh, I'm going to get cancer if I don't wear my hat. Oh, I'm going to be in a car wreck if I don't buckle up. You see the difference. It's
Yes,
totally the difference in, is it coming from love or is it coming from fear? And that's going to also make a difference in the boundaries out there, because the boundaries are going to be there, but it's going to be like someone coming through uh, in Stargate and going through
yes,
that bubble of reflective stuff like this, as opposed to coming up against something and go, I can't talk to that person because I'm running into a wall. So it's all about the emotion and the presence that we're projecting.
yes, and the intention behind. So pay attention
Absolutely.
to your intention.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That could be on a t-shirt. Pay attention to your intention.
yeah, that's a good one. Please
I
write
got
it
to write
down.
that. You
Yeah,
write it down. I'm writing it. I'm
I
looking for a
can't write
pencil.
right now, so
Okay, just a minute. See, this is how divine inspiration comes. You know, to
and pay attention to your intention. That's a
that
good
is
one.
so that's a podcast
Yes,
right
it
there.
is a
Pay
podcast.
attention to your intention. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, last question. In what ways does spiritual protection deepen your connection with others and the divine?
You know, on the paper, those are simple words. Energetically, they are so profound. The the protection that we give ourselves is allowing us to be discerning. And when we are discerning about things we do, that allows us to have a stronger connection with our divine guidance,
Yes.
because we can let this guidance come into us without being exposed to the negativity as this comes. I'm getting a picture here as it's flowing in, and then if it's being bombarded with negativity, but if we have that boundary, it allows us to absorb our connection and stay in that connection without it being able to be pulled away from us while we are having that
Yeah.
divine connection.
Yeah.
That, I'm sorry, it was I'm getting
I
I'm
know.
getting messages from so many different dimensions, and oh, don't forget to say this and don't forget to say that. Um, so if you want to
I
retranslate that for me, that would be great.
I can share a short personal experience. I
Yes,
experienced one time. All of a sudden, I could see from my inner eye, like when you have a ping pong racket and you are pushing away stuff. And I said to myself, "What's going on here?" Because there was something that I was protecting myself. I probably had some help as well, right?
yes,
Because I did practice my energy work, and it was someone trying to bombard me with some things, and they couldn't get to me because I became aware, and I did work a little bit extra on my energy without sending anything back. if
Yes.
I'm going to come to that place, and I have been doing that also sometimes, but I don't want to throw around negative energy. So if it comes to me, that's the end of the negativity. What I will do is I say I'm reflecting it back to where it came from, but fully cleared and cleansed. Only with the lesson learned back and
Exactly.
the consequence, learning why you sent that out to someone, right? That's the
Yes.
only thing. Because I don't think that, when if I give you something bad, you're not going to give it to a third person, right? So you cleanse it first, you take care of it. But that's what was a very odd experience. And when that energy couldn't come into my space because it was stopped, I experienced that thing off and on for not for 24 hours, but for periods within 3 days, and it stopped. And I could feel the anger from the other side. And I said, okay,
Oh,
I can
yes.
send you love, but you're not going to come in here. You're not. That's it.
Yes. When I'm working with people and we are working with cords, um, I have in my practice, I like to completely eradicate. You know, if I cut it, it might come back, but I send a beam of light and it just dissolves it all the way back to the source that it's coming from. And after we work, I'll say to my people that I've worked with, I said, you can almost guarantee that within 24 hours, that person is going to try and recontact you because they're going to feel it's
Yes.
like Yoda, the force. I don't feel the force anymore. And literally energy is palatable. And
Yes.
sure enough, I'll have them call me up and say, well, so and so tried to call me. And I said, well, now it's your choice if you want to reconnect with them. And but they can feel it. I don't injure them, I don't change them, but I just dissolve that connection
Yeah.
that they have. And when it's gone, they go, oh, something's missing, so we have to reach out. And
Yeah.
it really is. I mean, I can almost, I don't like guaranteeing things, but it is amazing to me when people call and say, well, you were right. That person I haven't seen in 5 years, I didn't know that they had a connection to me, but they said
Yeah.
they just were thinking about me. And I'm going, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thoughts, words, everything is energy. And I practiced with my metal door when I said I close the door to my energy for anyone, for any reason, positively or negatively, wants to manipulate my energy, drain my energy, do anything
yeah,
with my energy without my conscious consent. So
absolutely.
I had a lady, and of course I do feel for all people I'm talking to, but she was difficult and she wanted to sometimes people want you to give them the answer you can't give them because that's not what you see, right? It doesn't mean that I'm 100% right all the time. And I said to her, I tried to cut her off, and I said, I can't really help you. And this was going on for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And she called me and she was a little bit, difficult. And I felt drained each and every time, even me, right? So after I stopped, I logged out and I practiced this. And I specifically did it to her name, um, manipulating and doing things with my energy,
uh-huh,
using it for something. And 24 hours later, within 24 hours, she called the next evening and she said, I have a question for you. Do you really want to talk to me? And I said, I can't really help you. So I don't feel that it's ethical for me to talk to you because I can't help you with what you need. But that
right.
wasn't my question, she said. Do you want to talk to me or not? And I said, yes, if you, because you asked very straightforward, I'm going to answer. I would prefer not to because I can't help you.
Exactly.
And it stopped.
Yeah. And there again, it's not done in fear or anger. It
No.
is done in being sovereign to your own sanctuary, to your own essence. And the same would be as if a person that was addicted to something, alcohol or drugs, don't go in places where you're going to be constantly exposed to that. Uh, Now, with great empathy, people that love to eat, we have a little bit of a problem because the food commercials come to us. It's not like we're going to the restaurant and saying, "No, I'm not going to eat." But
Well,
we have that sovereign right to say, "This is not healthy for me. This is not, so I'm making the choice." And I send you love and light, but I no longer can keep this relationship, this communication, this situation. So,
and sometimes it's more loving. It's a bigger act of love when you
yes.
actually say no because you can't really. How about continuing with the affirmation? Sorry.
Oh, may I? May I?
Yes, please.
I love reading this. I am a radiant being of light, held in the gentle embrace of divine protection. My energy is clear, sovereign, and free, a temple of peace within all my moments. I release what is not mine with grace, and I welcome only that nourishes my soul. Each breath renews my field, each thought anchors my truth. I stand in love, shielded by purity and guided by the infinite within. Beautiful words,
Oh,
my dear friend. Beautiful
thank
words.
you. And you are making them so much more justice than I do.
I love reading your affirmations.
Beautiful. A question.
Yes.
Do we have 6 questions today? Probably. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, she's doing the bonus question. Okay, well, what is your question, my dear?
No. Is there anything else we want to touch on, or are we ready to wrap this up?
I think we're ready to wrap this up.
Okay. So here we go. May the words we have been telling you and from the affirmation, may the words echo softly within all of you as we close our circle today. You can find upcoming and past episodes at youtube.com/at Cosmic Guardians 111/streams and youtube.com/at Angel Place on Earth/streams and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. Connect with me and Miss Corrine. Find articles and much more at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And you find Miss Corrine at liquidenergyhealing.com. Our next upcoming show on Cosmic Guardians and with Cosmic Sis-Stars is next Wednesday, July 1st. How a beautiful start of the next 6 months of this year, right?
Yep.
And we will talk about becoming the observer, the art of neutrality. That's going to be interesting.
Yes.
A little bit like detachment, right? So
Yes.
we do go live for you every Wednesday in US and Europe and every Thursday early morning in Australia. And as we close this sacred circle, may your light feel freshly cleansed and your heart gently fortified. Remember that protection is not separation, it is alignment. It is the art of standing in your truth while letting love flow freely through every layer of your being. Carry this clarity into your days ahead. Let your boundaries breathe. Let your energy shine, and let your soul rest in the knowing that you are always guided, always safe, always whole. Until we meet again in the next cosmic conversation, with infinite love, peace, and joy, we see you, we hear you, we feel you, we honor you, we love you, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.